AOC's fans like to say she's living in our heads like Pharrell Williams singing Happy. But in fact, it's the policies that live in our heads, and they should live there because we know so many people who've been brutalized by such ideas. When you hear someone talk about socialism like it's a fun new way to pay down my college debt, you gotta scream. Just prepare to be called awful things for doing so. Today, pointing out the evil of the past makes you the bane of the present.
I do think she's very talented on social media.
So apparently, the left's latest dream is President AOC. Yeah, the same AOC who once said economics was basically about feelings. Greg Gutfeld didn't just laugh at that, he completely obliterated the idea with surgical precision. He joked, if AOC's the future, then the future clearly majored in TikTok. And honestly, you can almost hear the sound of political logic packing its bags. Somehow, we've reached a point where viral tweets count as qualifications, and Greg is one of the few people actually saying what everyone else is quietly thinking.
AOC was on 60 Minutes last night. Quite a feat for a newcomer. Must be all her great new ideas.
People are going to have to start paying their fair share in taxes. Once you get to like the tippy tops, on your $10 millionth dollar, sometimes you see tax rates as high as 60 or 70%.
What an expression. Now, the real story isn't AOC's very old ideas. It's the media's gushy view of her. Even with her old ideas, she gets on 60 Minutes. The past is called the future, and you better love it.
If this is who's running in 2028, we're going to need popcorn, not policies. The entire scenario feels like a political comedy sketch that accidentally became reality. Remember when AOC first blew up online? It started innocently, a college dance video, a viral moment, and suddenly the internet lost its mind. Overnight, the media crowned her as the new face of progress. Greg roasted that whole circus perfectly.
AOC's delightful dancing video from last week. The media created a fake story that conservatives attacked her over this delightful trifle. Not really. In fact, the only stories written about the dance were by liberals using it to falsely smear the right. So the press creates a shield around her in which any criticism must be due to sexism or bigotry, when in fact it's in their heads and not ours.
Nobody cared she danced. We cared that the media acted like it cured cancer. From that moment on, it's been a non-stop hype machine. Every headline reads like a fan account, AOC slays again, or AOC shuts down critics.
AOC. What? She's kind of fun in a silly but earnest, wrong but adorable way. She's like your daughter when she comes back from her first year at Brown, full of half-baked, half opinions, in need of some gentle, patient deprogramming. But people have to realize new faces doesn't mean new ideas. Drives me crazy. AOC has never introduced a fresh idea or issue in her life.
But Greg nailed it. That's not leadership, that's content creation. He compared her rise to a smartphone upgrade, shiny, expensive, looks great on launch day, but falls apart in 2 years. And he's not wrong, because after all that noise, what came next? A dream called the Green New Deal, a plan that sounded less like legislation and more like a college project with glitter and no budget.
Thing is, what if a woman had challenged her to a debate? So she's actually being the sexist.
I think Candace Owens did.
Oh, really?
Now
there you go.
She has, like,
because
doubled the money.
So to answer your other question, she had to cloak her weak ideas in the armor of a smear, because she's learned as a leftist, the best thing you can do is smear somebody if you don't have an argument, and the smears actually work. Nobody wants to be called sexist or racist.
Greg summed it up in one line: save the world with vibes and government spending. It's ambitious, it's dramatic, and it's exactly the kind of pitch that gets applause on social media, not in Congress. When Greg really started roasting, that's when it got wild. He said AOC's ideas sound like Venezuela, but make it Instagrammable. Her plan to tax the tippy-top earners? He laughed, saying she wants to fix inequality by breaking math. Her big environmental agenda? It's like a science fair project. Lots of glitter, no calculator.
All of her ideas are straight out of the socialist playbook. I do think she's very talented on social media and she's got a big following, but she's now a member of Congress as a Democrat, and there's certain rules as a Democrat that you have to play by. Now, she's just a freshman. She has to realize Pinocchios are for Donald Trump. She can't be so sloppy she's getting fact-checked all the time by the Washington Post.
the funny part is that Greg wasn't even being cruel. His whole point was that AOC isn't dangerous because she's evil. She's dangerous because she's persuasive. She sells complex failures with charm and filters. Greg called it socialism with good lighting. The brilliance of his roast is that he cuts through the media noise with humor, exposing how absurd things can sound when you strip away the buzzwords. Whenever people push back on AOC's claims, she and her fans flip the script. Disagree with her? You're suddenly a hater. Ask about the numbers? You're attacking women. Greg coined it perfectly. She's not protected by logic. She's protected by hashtags that line hit home because that's exactly how modern politics operates. Facts don't trend, feelings do, and Greg wasn't done there. He called out the media's double standards, saying, they don't defend her because she's right. They defend her because she's trending. Every time someone questions her math, boom, a headline appears. Right-wing attacks AOC. But half the time, it's literally someone asking, wait, who's paying for this? Greg called it the armor of outrage. You can't debate her because the moment you do, she flips the switch. Ism this, phobia that, and the argument's over. It's the perfect modern shield. Not truth, not logic, just emotional immunity. And it works because today's internet isn't built on facts, it's built on feelings. But Greg doesn't play that game. He went after her base next. The diehard AOC fans who treat her like she invented politics. And he's right. You've seen it. Every time she posts something basic, it's treated like gospel. AOC claps back. AOC destroys capitalism with one post. No, she didn't. She just rhymed something with climate. The cycle is always the same. Media hypes her up, critics respond, outrage follows, and then AOC trends again. It's a perfect loop. Outrage equals engagement. Engagement equals power. Greg pointed out that she's not really a politician anymore. She's a performer with a merch line. It's politics turned into influencer marketing, and it's genius in a scary kind of way. She's built a brand stronger than most of her colleagues in the Democratic Party. But Greg's warning was sharp. Popularity isn't policy. Being famous for ideas doesn't make those ideas functional. And that's where his roast turned prophetic, because now people are whispering about AOC 2028. You can tell Greg nearly choked on his coffee when he heard that. He quipped, "We used to pick presidents with resumes. Now we pick them with ring lights." That line sums up modern politics in one breath. The media's already daydreaming about her future presidency, while real politicians can't even balance a budget. It's like we're watching a reality show where the grand prize is the Oval Office. Greg described it like a Netflix trailer. Coming soon, the influencer in chief. Streaming on every device you can afford after her tax plan. When someone defended her saying, "But she's authentic," Greg fired back instantly, "So is my cat. Doesn't mean I want her running the economy." Even Bill Maher, who's no conservative, Greg took that further. Kamala tripped over the bar, and AOC's digging a tunnel under it. It's savage, but fair. Because charisma isn't competence. Being famous online doesn't mean you can run a country. It just means you've mastered lighting angles and caption timing. Greg wrapped it all up with the kind of final punchline that turns into a soundbite. It just means you know the right filters. Then he called her the Emperor of Engagement. Thousands of likes, 0 results. Her movement, as Greg sees it, is built entirely on vibes, not victories. She's the political version of an NFT. Looks cool, worth nothing. It's brutal, but you can't help but laugh because it's funny and true. He ended on a surprisingly thoughtful note, saying AOC isn't evil or dumb. She's just the perfect product of a political generation that values viral moments over real results. She's all style, no spreadsheet. All noise, no nuance. All followers, no follow-through. The line that sealed it all, the Emperor has no clothes, just a killer Instagram filter. And the audience lost it, because it wasn't just a roast, it was social commentary wrapped in comedy. Greg's whole segment felt like he was holding up a mirror to the modern left and saying, this is what happens when politics becomes performance art. Every viral clip, every emotional plea, every photo op, it's all part of the same show. And the punchline is that the audience keeps buying tickets. But the craziest part? The show might just go on for years. With the 2028 buzz growing, people are genuinely speculating whether AOC will run for president someday. Greg's response was classic Gutfeld. Sure, if the campaign trail has Wi-Fi and a ring light. It's absurd, but in today's political climate, not impossible. That's what makes it so funny and so real. So now the question becomes, is AOC really the left's future, or just another meme that's spiraled out of control? Greg doesn't even need to answer. His laughter says it all. Because when a country starts treating politics like a fandom, the jokes write themselves. And that's why his audience keeps tuning in. Every punchline hits a nerve because beneath the humor, there's truth. We've replaced debate with outrage, substance with aesthetics, and now we're seriously considering influencers as national leaders. It's like we're all extras in a political parody that forgot to end. And Greg, he's the comedian narrating the downfall in real time. He sees the absurdity, mocks it, and makes people laugh about what should probably make them nervous. That's why his roasts land so well. They're not just jokes, they're reality checks disguised as stand-up. So as he wrapped up, he threw one last jab. If this is what 2028 looks like, we're not voting for a president. We're subscribing to one. The crowd erupted, because deep down, they knew he wasn't wrong. So the next time you see President AOC trending, just remember Greg's words. The emperor of engagement might win the internet, but running a country takes more than followers. Maybe one day the political stage will go back to being about policies and leadership instead of TikToks and hashtags. Until then, Greg Gutfeld's going to keep doing what he does best, turning the chaos into comedy. Because in this era of viral politics, someone's got to remind us that logic might have left the chat, but laughter never will. So what do you think? Is AOC really the future, or is this just the funniest political joke of our time? Drop your thoughts below, because if 2028 turns into a live-streamed campaign full of hashtags and filters, we'll need Greg Gutfeld narrating every second of it. After all, he's not just roasting politics, he's exposing the entertainment industry it's become.